there, knock it in.
Going back to the Mavericks injuries, Jerry Stackhouse has been out all year with knee tendonitis. They're also without Keith Van Horn tonight. Van Horn not dressing up for this one, a hip injury that he sustained in their last game here at home against the Lakers, and they're worried there's possible nerve damage in that hip for Van Horn. And Josh Howard, again, after missing 8 games, returned against the Lakers. Dirk Nowitzki trying to clean up inside, then tips it home.
That's his ability there to be that tall, and not a high leaper at all, but it's 7'1". He can miss it and get it up and in a hurry.
Dirk also took a shot late in that game against the Lakers, clocked in the head by Lamar Odom. Was woozy after the game. Nash for 3, absolutely, for Steve Nash. In the zone with AutoZone, $100 to Phoenix Suns charities, courtesy the three-pointer by Steve Nash.
Every time he makes a shot, Mark Cuban like kind of cringes.
Didn't see that from here, can you? Jason Terry comes right back for Dallas. Jason Terry, his contract runs out after this season, Eddie Johnson. Dallas will need to re-sign him. I'm sure they would like to, but just in case, they have Devin Harris off the bench.
Yeah, but, I like Jason Terry. I think he's shown that he can play point guard, that he can play unselfish. A guy that took a lot of shots in Atlanta, has learned to play the team game, and they're not going to go too far without him playing well. He's a bona fide scorer, and that's what they need.
And he's really become their second option on offense behind Dirk Nowitzki. Nash in the face of Dampier again. Steve Nash very active with that shot here in the first quarter. Boris Diaw, wide open look, can't can it.
A lot of times, Boris hesitates. Instead of just going up to shoot it right away, he tends to hesitate because I think he's thinking to get a little closer. And you're not going to get as close as a 12-footer. Just knock it down.
Dampier in a tussle there with Kurt Thomas, sent him to the floor, and back comes Nash. Ad-libbing in the lane, finds Kurt Thomas. Top of the key, short. Rebound on the offensive glass there, Boris Diaw. Baby hook, ripped away by Dirk Nowitzki. Nice aggressive offensive rebound there by Boris Diaw. And now Raja Bell needing help from Sean Marion on Nowitzki. It's Marquise Daniels. He's off the mark once again. Diaw couldn't corral the rebound, and a fresh 24 for Dirk and the Mavericks.
And Daniels, to me, is the wild card in this game. Josh Howard obviously laboring a little bit with the bad ankle, although he's getting ready to check in. I think Daniels is the guy they really have to worry about because he's the sneaky one in the lineup. Jason
Eugene Terry, they call him the Jet, motored right down the lane for another hoop. He's 2 of 3 so far from the field. And Raja Bell from the outside gives the Suns another 5-point advantage. Raja's taken 2 shots, hit them both, along with a couple of free throws. He has 6, Nash with 7 so far for Phoenix. Inside of 5 minutes to go here in the opening quarter. Daniels snuffed out there by Nash, gets it over to Terry. Front iron, bounces around, and the 7-footer, Dirk Nowitzki, loitering by the cylinder. Now up ahead, it's Marion on the run out, and he can't lay it home. Phoenix Suns, the only team in the NBA who runs off made baskets. Here comes Nowitzki to the 10th floor.
Yeah, they can run it right back at you. A heck of a pass by Steve Nash to Sean Marion. Just couldn't get it in. A highlight film pass. Couldn't complete it.
Again, the switch out, Dampier on Nash. Fires past the starting center for Dallas, and a foul. Loose ball foul on Jason Terry of the Mavs, and here comes Jim Jackson. Boy, do the Suns need some offense from the veteran Jim Jackson. Without James Jones here again tonight, he is out with that ankle injury.
They really do, but here's the pass right there to Nowitzki, on the break, and that's where Jason Terry's really improved his game. Not thinking shot, but thinking find teammates, especially Dirk. If not, he'll hear from him. He will hear from him in a hurry.
Yeah, Dirk let everybody hear from him during the playoffs. Everybody saw it, too, as he called out Jason Terry for not covering up on Nash with that three-pointer. Sent the game to overtime in game number 6, and that was after Dirk had called out Eric Dampier earlier in the playoffs. Howard off the screen from Nowitzki, and Josh Howard coming in off the Dallas bench. He was their starting forward to begin the season, had the ankle injury, played 10 minutes in their last game against the Lakers as he works himself back into shape.
And has had a lot of success against the Suns. The Suns have really had a difficult time keeping him under wraps.
He has a boatload of talent along with Marquise Daniels. Nash, once again, with the shot for the Suns. He has taken 8 field goal attempts and hit 3 so far for Phoenix. It's a 10-2 Mavs run to take this lead into the lane. Daniels can't find the iron. goes out of bounds, and Dallas will have it with 12 seconds on the shot clock.
You know, if anyone else had taken that many shots so far, you'd worry. But you know it evens out with Steve Nash. You know his assist is always going to catch up. What he's doing is trying to develop some tempo off of their defense, and shots aren't going for him. And that's what Jason Terry does well, Tom. I mean, he can put his head down and get to the rim.
Terry once again right into the gut of the defense. It's now a 3-point lead for Dallas. We saw that same strategy from Avery Johnson and the Mavericks, allowing Nash to shoot away during the playoffs. Had that 48-point game, his career high, in game number 4 of the series. Turnover Phoenix, and Terry is fouled there by Jim Jackson, and Terry hits the wood hard, helped up now by Jimmy Jackson, who started his NBA career here in Dallas.
Well, Sean not thinking aggressive offensively here, because if he was, all he had to do was spin back the other way and he probably had a dunk. He was really made up his mind that he was going to get the ball to Steve Nash in that particular play, and once he goes back and looks at film, especially at half, he's going to see later in the game he might have an opportunity to spin and have an easy layup.
Clear path to the basket foul on Jim Jackson, and that will result in free throws for the Dallas Mavericks. And to the line goes Jason Terry, adding to the Mavericks' lead. Suns led by as many as 7 here in the opening period, but now a +4 for the Mavericks.
Expect this game to go like this all night long, especially if the Suns have found their shooting eye. This is going to be a game of streaks, and the team that shuts down the other for a longer period of time will have a chance to win the basketball game.
From one turbo-charged guard, Jason Terry, to another, in comes Devin Harris for Dallas. Nowitzki trying to draw the foul, and Nash comes away with the rebound. Devin Harris has scored 19 points in the last 2 games for this Mavericks team, as Rajabel has the open look for 3, and Sagana Diop with the rebound. Also coming in off the Dallas Pines, Sagana Diop signed as a free agent out of Cleveland, and he has really surprised many observers around the NBA with his play for the Mavericks. Howard bounces into Marion. Bucket and 1 for Josh Howard. And we have a timeout at the 2:33 mark here of the opening quarter. The Suns leading by 7, now down by 6. When we come back, Josh Howard at the stripe.
Well, Dallas, a very versatile basketball team. You bring Howard in, he's able to put it down and get the tough hoop over Sean Marion.
Dallas Mavericks on an 11-0 run to take this 6-point lead here in the opening period. This day in NBA history, presented by Paddock Pools, Patios, and Spas. Experience the magic of Christmas now at all Paddock stores. We're all your holiday needs. December 14th, 1962. Wilt Chamberlain scored 63 points for the Philadelphia Warriors, and Elgin Baylor tallied 50 for the Lakers, one of only 3 times in NBA history that opposing players each scored at least 50 points in the same game. That must have been a fun one to watch. You know, you talk about Wilt Chamberlain and go back to Steve Nash and his heroics in the playoffs, the Western Conference semifinals against the Mavericks. He had the career-high 48 points that we talked about in Game 4. Then he followed that with the triple-double in Game 5, and only Wilt Chamberlain and Michael Jordan, the only 2 other players who have scored 40-plus, and then followed that up with a triple-double. That's pretty good company.
Yes. I had 1 triple-double in my career.
Is that 6th grade?
No, NBA. It was in the NBA. It was against the Los Angeles Lakers, too.
Really?
That's right.
Was that turnovers, field goal attempts?
No, I had 16 points, I think. I had 14 rebounds, and I had 10 assists.
All right.
It was one of those games where I was just had an out-of-body experience.
I think our producer, Bob Adlock, is calling Elias right now just to double check
He can check, and he will find it.
I don't know how, but Sean Marion was able to somehow tip that pass from Boris Diaw into the hoop, and back comes Marquise Daniels for the Mavericks, and their lead is 6.
There's so many different people to guard off the dribble. That makes the Dallas Mavericks very difficult, and it's surprising to me because I thought they would somewhat struggle this year with the changes that they made, but they haven't missed a beat.
Another turnover for Phoenix goes out of bounds, and Dallas will have it. The Suns, Eddie, shooting just 38% from the field. And over the last 3 games, they have been held under 100 points, averaging just 88 per game. Came out smoking early in the first quarter, but now have tailed off here in the final stages of the opening quarter.
Well, you know, as the season goes along, teams make adjustments, and they watch film and they try to counter what the Suns had done in that 9-game winning streak. And, you know, it's a constant battle for the Phoenix Suns all year long to try to come up with different derivatives of your offense to try to keep people off balance, and they can't continue to allow the Mavericks to get to the basket. I mean, they're scoring in the paint right now, and a number of guys are getting it done.
Foul on Jimmy Jackson, and Josh Howard cannot complete the three-point play. But you look at this team, this Dallas talent that they've assembled here. Man, who can't put it on the floor and take it to the bucket? Maybe outside of Sagana Diop, just very versatile, multi-talented players. There you have it. Josh Howard, who takes it down the lane, then grabs the rebound. Marquise Daniels can post you up, put it on the floor. Don Nelson Jr. and this Mavericks hierarchy has certainly put together quite a team.
And they don't have the great post-up game, and just a quick hand there, it's a quick whistle on the foul. But they don't have the great post-up game as some good teams do. But what they do is they know how to get to the rim, which in essence is a post-up game. It's just facing you and taking you off the dribble. Right now, I mean, 21 of their 28 points in the paint. And so you can't continue to allow that to happen.
It is now a 10-point Dallas Maverick lead. $1:10 to play here in the opening period. Suns looking for a boost. Maybe it'll come from Eddie House. Feeds it inside to Raja Bell, to a wide-open Jim Jackson, and that shot has left him.
See, right there is an example. Raja Bell had the ball in the paint. I'm more into him just going up and attempting maybe a tough shot to get fouled. Try to shoot it in, then kick it out for the three. I mean, the three, again, is a high-confidence, low-percentage shot. If it's not going for you, it can get you in trouble.
Drawing the foul on the drive is Devin Harris. We talked about this on Suns Game Time, our pregame show. Over the last 2 games, Devin Harris has gone to the line 27 times. He is in attack mode for Dallas.
Well, he puts it on the floor. And for young players that watch the Dallas Mavericks, understand that they're not a jump shooting basketball team per se. Dirk Nowitzki is their guy, their main guy. Jason Terry next in line. But the rest of their guys are always trying to find a way to put it on the floor and put pressure on the defense, and it makes it very difficult to guard them. Suns
benefiting from some poor free throw shooting here in the opening period by the Mavericks. They have already missed 3 free shots, and yet they still lead by 11. It's an 18-4 Dallas Mavericks run. Eddie House filling it up for 3. In the zone with AutoZone, another $100 to Phoenix Suns Charities after the three-pointer by the Howitzer. Eddie House, the lead is now 8. Inside again, Devin Harris trying to make his way to the cup. Ambushed there by 3 defenders. Nowitzki, offensive foul, seduced there by Raja Bell.
Well, he really did. And again, Raja didn't guess there. He knew. He knew that Dirk Nowitzki loves to go left. And that's what you do with the scouting report, and that's why it's important to pay attention before a game when the coaches are talking, because you figure it out and you jump and you get the call, and that's what Raja Bell did.
Eddie House now directing the Suns offense. There is 2 seconds separating the game clock from the shot clock here in the opening period. Trying to rub off a Diao screen. Top of the key, open look for Boris. And he drills it. Set up there by Eddie House. Still time on the clock for Devin Harris. Pump fakes, lets it fly. In and out for Devin Harris. And we are done with 1 here in Dallas. Suns led by 7 at one point. The Mavericks' biggest lead was 11 here in the period. And you are watching Phoenix Suns basketball on UPN 45. Heading to quarter number 2 with the Mavericks leading the Suns 30-24. Back here in Dallas, Texas, Tom Leander along with Eddie Johnson, our director Dan Siekman, producer Bob Adlock, John McCann on graphics. Dallas leading by 6 as we head to the second period, and log on to Suns.com right now to order a Suns gift card. It's the perfect gift for any Suns fan. They come in 5 denominations and are good for tickets, concessions, and merchandise at America West Arena events. Get your gift card at Suns.com, the team shop, or the Suns box office. EJ has picked up his cell phone and is ordering right now.
Yes.
Or actually, you've got your laptop. I guess you're doing it on Suns.com.
Yes, I am. I can do 2 or 3 things while I'm talking to you.
The perfect gift.
two areas to worry about. You know, when you look at the first quarter for the Suns, one that really sticks out right away is points in the paint. I mean, the Mavericks outscored them 20-4 in the paint, and that's just too many early on in the first quarter. And then secondly, second chance points. The Mavericks have 8, Suns 0. And so, you know, the Suns are normally the team that can do damage on the offensive glass against you. So far, the Mavericks, they have taken advantage of it, and that's why they have 30 points. And
for the Suns, the question is, who do you try to stop with the Dallas Mavericks? Jason Terry had 7, and then they had 3 other players who scored 6 in the opening quarter. Dirk Nowitzki had 6, Marquise Daniels, and Josh Howard. Eddie House comes up shy and rebounded there by Josh Howard. Up ahead, it's Jason Terry back on the floor and back iron. Another rebound for Josh Howard. He certainly looks healthy coming off that sprained ankle.
Well, Boris Diaw would have gotten away with a foul if Howard didn't fall. And so that's what some players do. They fall to force the official to either call a travel or the foul, and Boris Diaw gets the worst of that encounter.
You know, we were talking about the talent on this Mavericks team, and recently Magic Johnson here in the Dallas area, and he says the Mavs are the second best team in the West. They're playing just as well as the San Antonio Spurs.
Well, and they've beaten the Spurs, so I think they've sent that message along as well.
And beaten the Pistons and beaten the Heat. They have beaten all the final 4 teams, and of course the Phoenix Suns on opening night in Phoenix. So very impressive for this Dallas team. And they did that after their first 11 games of the season. Wins over the Suns, the Spurs, the Heat, and the Pistons. And boy, did they do a number on Detroit in that game. They won by 37 points, this Dallas team, over the Pistons.
Again, an array of offensive players, and when they have it going, they don't run as fast as the Suns, and they don't put it up from behind the arc at a rapid rate. But what they do is put pressure on you defensively by putting their head down and getting to the bucket. Very tough to guard.
Devin Harris, the direct hit from the outside. You know, it's still a little strange to hear you talking about Dallas and defense. This is not the same team we're accustomed to over the last 5-6 years here in Dallas.
No, not at all. But, you know, they've changed players. They've changed the mentality. And the guys that they do have the quickness to get it done.
Boris Diaw takes the feed from Marion. Can't finish. Tipping inside, though, was Boris Diaw, cleaning up his own mess. And the lead is 6. You know, going back to that new mentality, it all goes back to Avery Johnson. Maybe the best move that Mark Cuban made was bringing in Avery Johnson. Tail end of last season, they finished 16-2 in the regular season under Avery. Traveling violation there on Sagana Diop, the big 7-footer, who came at a bargain basement price for Avery Johnson and the Mavericks. And developing some youngsters and Sagana Diop, they also have DJ Benga, another young 7-footer here in Dallas.
You're being nice. I thought Dejana Gott was at a Christmas party dancing to R. Kelly. I started to get up and go jam with him.
Shoulders started shaking a little bit. It's the Christmas holiday spirit. A lot of holiday parties going on. Eddie House from the baseline. Another rebound for Josh Howard. He has taken over this game. Hit the accelerator, puts it up, hits the floor, and he'll go back to the line for 2. Fouled there by Eddie House. Jim Jackson also could have been busted for that one as well.
Well, you know, Eddie tried to get him to pick the basketball up, but Josh Howard has a green light to continue to push the action, and Eddie just didn't get far enough ahead of him to really force him to pick the basketball up, and it got him to the basket, and he's on the line again. 3rd
year now for Josh Howard coming out of Wake Forest. He was the final pick in the first round of the draft, coming right after Leandro Barbosa, who, by the way, is back in Phoenix. We send our best wishes to Leandro. Recovering now from another knee injury, that left knee that he re-injured in the game against the Clippers in Los Angeles. Mike D'Antoni was saying before the game, it's the same ligament, but just in a different spot.
The toughest thing for a young player to do is to know when they're healthy and ready to play. And I think now Leandro's he's reached a point now with this injury that, you know what, I'm going to make sure that I'm very close to 100% because, you know, he wants to play when it's time. And the time is the playoff run and when things really start to heat up. And he wants to be in top shape because he's shown us now when he's a bona fide guy that can get you 20 any night, and I think it's important for him to get healthy.
Suns really miss his speed out here on the floor, and Mike D'Antoni said exactly that. The Suns will be a lot more cautious in bringing Leandro back from this second knee injury. Eddie House can't find the range, tipped out of bounds. It went off, it appeared Josh Howard, that's what the Suns are saying, but instead they will give it to the Mavericks. leading by 8. Josh Howard has been a demon here in the first half against D'Antoni and the Suns. Howard, 8 points, 7 rebounds in 7 minutes of play.
Well, because he will be everywhere. He will guard different players as well. I mean, he can guard anybody for a short period of time. That puts him in an area to get rebounds.
Jason Terry, back iron. Boarded by Diao. Rip it and run. The Suns' philosophy up the court to Eddie House. Through his hands, out of bounds, turnover Phoenix. And that is their 3rd turnover.
Well, as you can see, I mean, Eddie House basically plays much better at home. And he's going to have to find a way to get his stroke and get his rhythm on the road because the Suns are going to need his scoring, especially in this game.
Taking 4 shots, hit just 1 for Eddie House. Talked about the Suns again without Barbosa, without James Jones. And there is Josh Howard once again. He's in double figures with 10 points.
Everything the Mavericks are getting right now is in the paint. And it's very difficult to beat anybody when you're allowing them to get that type of high percentage shot every time down.
Again, just very limited minutes for Josh Howard in his first game back against the Lakers, but he looks 100% here tonight. Jason Terry busted for the personal, and the Suns will have it trailing by 10 when we come back here from Dallas. Mavericks 36, Suns 26 here in the second quarter. Time for our Southwest Airlines featured destination. It's Phoenix. How about that? Log on to southwest.com for special air, car, and hotel deals to the Valley of the Sun. Ever been there? Pretty nice place, I understand.
As cold as it is everywhere else, that's where I'd want to go.
And getting colder by the second here in Dallas. That is a freaky Santa right there.
You know what? That's ridiculous. Sure.
He's got the Harley parked right outside the arena.
He should have been arrested as soon as he walked out of his house.
That is a sickness that they love here in Dallas. And they've got another sellout, 164 consecutive regular season sellouts for this Mavericks team. They like what they see here in the first half. Devin Harris plowed right into Kurt Thomas, freeing up Steve Nash.
Kurt's put some punishment on their guards, and they're swinging away and hitting them, and Kurt's getting a call, and probably should be a little bit more theatrical. I think he can get some more fouls on him.
Jason Terry again gets right to the rim, right into the heart of the Suns defense. The lead is back to 10, and for Jason Terry, he now has 9 points. Second leading scorer so far for the Mavs, behind Josh Howard and his 10. Nash has it in the corner, and an illegal defense call against, I believe that was Jason Terry down there underneath the basket. And the mismatch, Sagana Diop was switched over on Nash, and the Suns and Steve Nash will have the technical free throw.
Suns need everything they can get right now. I mean, because they haven't had an easy going of it stopping this basketball team, the Mavericks, and the Mavericks have stopped them for stretches. And I said the team that will get the most stops for a period of time will be the team that will take control of this basketball game.
Jim Jackson and Eddie House check out now for the Suns. One player you will not see out there for the Dallas Mavericks is Doug Christie. They signed him as a free agent during the offseason, but he never really overcame those ankle injuries, and this Dallas Mavericks team waived Doug Christie as Kurt Thomas finds the range from the outside and pulls the Suns to within 7. That was a 3-point play when you consider the free throw by Nash on the illegal defense call, and then the J by Kurt Thomas.
Yeah, and the Suns need a stretch. They had during their streak where they would shut teams down to allow them to get back in the game. You can't allow the Mavericks continue to go smoothly through their offense.
Jason Terry misfires from the outside, and here comes Sean Marion. So again, this Mavericks team signed Doug Christie. They're hoping to get some leadership, some defense, but the ankle never really responded. That might be a good thing for this Mavericks team because it meant more minutes for the likes of Marquise Daniels and Devin Harris. Back-to-back buckets for Kurt Thomas.
And probably with Christie being here, it probably forced those guys to work on their game a little bit extra, knowing that their minutes might not be there, and lo and behold, it's turned into a good effort for them.
Dampier had it in the low post, didn't even have a thought of turning around and shooting it. Now it's Nowitzki, double team through the hands of Harris, but right into the open arms of Adrian Griffin. Friendly bounce here at home for Griffin.
Yeah, that's the guy you want shooting the basketball on the court for the Mavericks, although he's knocked down a couple.
Finishing the thought on Christie, signed a 3-year deal. A lot of people thought it was money thrown away by Cuban, but it was not totally guaranteed. Dampier rips away the rebound for Dallas. Dampier splitting time at the center position along with Sagana Diop, and DJ Benga sees minutes sporadically. Dirk Nowitzki turns and connects.
You think he's off balance, but he's really not. I mean, the guy's 7'1". He can lean back, and he has the ability to shoot the basketball, you know, in a sense with the target moving when you're fading away from the basket.
Wide open look. Kurt Thomas, courtesy Steve Nash. And 3 quick hoops for Kurt Thomas here in the second period, halfway through. 42-35 Dallas. Both teams with 5 hits here in the second period. Dampier puts it on the floor, trying to drive on Kurt Thomas, held and fouled there by Thomas. And that is his first personal foul, and we have a timeout with 5:46 to go until halftime.
Well, you know, Tom, Suns hanging around. You know, they're fighting off a team that really has it going on all cylinders offensively, but the Suns are hanging around waiting for a blast, and that's what's going to be needed before the end of this quarter is over. Hopefully Kurt Thomas can continue to knock it down.
Back here in Dallas, Mavericks leading the Suns 42-35 here in the second quarter. Time for Bud Light's What's on Tap. Bud Light, smooth and refreshing. Great taste for your great times. And it's Ray Allen and the Sonics coming to town for the Phoenix Suns after this 3-game road trip. After Dallas, it's on to Baton Rouge to take on the Hornets Friday, Memphis on Saturday, and then the Suns back home Tuesday at the America West Arena to face Ray Allen and their coach, Bobby Weiss, there in Seattle. Meanwhile, it's been Kurt Thomas here in the second quarter. Over the last 2 minutes, 15 seconds, the Suns 3 of 4 from the field. All 3 buckets provided by Kurt Thomas.
Well, they're starting to jump out, I think, on Steve Nash more aggressively, taking his shot away. And now Kurt Thomas is his turn to get the open shot, and he's going to continue to knock that down. I think he's a key in this basketball game, especially as it gets down to the end.
And how tough is Kurt Thomas? Well, if you saw that game against the Hornets, he came crashing down late in that game, landed on his tailbone, his neck snapped. Some aches and pains, but not even a thought of missing a game for Kurt Thomas. Nowitzki with the shot clock ready to explode. Here comes Diao on the run out. Sean Marion, and he's wrapped up. Hogtied there by Adrian Griffin.
He must have been a rodeo guy.
Hogtied.
He tried to choke him. That's what I'm from the city. I'm not from the country like you. See, I think he tried to choke him. I didn't see a rope in his hand. I saw some hands around his neck.
But you see, we're here in Dallas, so you gotta, you know, that's kind of like off the top. And I talked about the Mavericks being ornery. Actually, you say here in Dallas, they're ornery. Coming off that loss to the Lakers. Trying to make it a little special, you know, add to the atmosphere.
No, I agree. I agree with you, Tom. You're good. You came dressed apart too.
Thanks.
You came with the pinstripes. Came with the pinstripe suit on. Now you're the new pasty gangster.
The pasty gangster. That is something I have never been called. Well, pasty maybe, but not gangster. You got 1 out of 2. 3 on the shot clock now for the Mavericks. 5:07 to go here in the quarter. Getting set to inbounds will be Marquise Daniels. The Suns out there with Raja Bell, Sean Marion, Steve Nash, Boris Diaw, and Kurt Thomas. Need a quick fire here for Dallas. Dampier inside and bailed out by the call. 31, Sean Marion hit with a personal, and Dampier will go to the line for 2.
That should never happen, and sometimes you get caught up in not respecting who's on the floor, and no way the Suns thought that Eric Dampier would be the focus in getting the ball to out of bounds, but that's when you get yourself in trouble, when you try to take things for granted. That should never occur. Ball should always end up outside the paint on out of bounds play, especially underneath the basket.
Returning for Dallas to the chagrin of the Suns is Josh Howard. 10 points, 7 rebounds in those 7 minutes coming off the bench, and I'm sure it's just a matter of time before he returns to the starting lineup for Avery Johnson and the Mavericks. And it was Avery who really went to bat to sign Eric Dampier a year ago, that sign and trade deal with the Golden State Warriors.
He probably wants to take a bat. With it. Hit him good with it.
Sign and trade back. Haven't seen that one executed. Marion rising up, but he's denied there by who else? Josh Howard. He's done everything else here in the first half. Terry hits the gas, hangs in the air. Trying to spoon feed Nowitzki. Hand in the face from Marion, and Sean has done a very respectable job defensively in his matchups with Dirk Nowitzki.
He makes him work, and that's all you can do.
Terry in and out. Down it goes for Jason Terry.
The rim is kind for Jason Terry, but again, the wide open look. Not too many hands in the Mavericks' faces right now from the Sun.
Nash through the obstacle course, and now Kurt Thomas kicks it out of bounds. Turnover, Phoenix.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Steve Nash leading the way for the Suns with 10 points. His counterpart, Jason Terry, has 11 for Dallas.
A rarity there. The Mavericks made Steve Nash pick the ball up in the paint, and that's what got Steve in trouble. Eric Dampier cut the baseline off, and Steve did not have the angle that he normally gets.
Pretty clean first half, though. Only 6 turnovers combined by the two teams. Only 2 for Dallas here at the 4-minute mark. It's Jason Terry again, and Terry now shooting 5 of 12. He has jacked up a dozen shots already for this Mavericks team. You talk about him being the second option. He thinks he's the first option. He's taken 2 more shots than that man, Nowitzki.
How many 7-footers you know can do that? I mean, come on. I mean, we take him for granted and we talk about his weaknesses, but I tell you what, I have never seen a 7-foot player move like him and get the ball on the perimeter and take guys at 6'6", 6'7".
Raja Bell, hand in the face there from Josh Howard, but an offensive rebound from Marion and the Suns. Nowitzki, by the way, coming off another phenomenal performance for the Mavs, had 27 points and 15 rebounds in their loss to the Lakers. Another offensive rebound and reset for Phoenix as they trail by 11 here in the second. Raja Bell behind the line for 3, comes up short. Diaz scrapping for the offensive board, but Dampier now clears it to Terry. Up ahead, Marquise Daniels. Suns back in transition, and Dampier absolutely levels Raja Bell.
Raja Bell just knows how to put himself in position to get the reaction from the official. And most defensive players are very good in this league. They know how to get it done, and didn't get hit that hard, but the reaction made the call.
Suns have missed their last 5 field goal attempts. Nash, a pass down the lane. He lays it up high off the glass. Beautiful move there by Nash, and the Suns pulled it within 9. He has such an array of shots. Can go with the left hand, the right hand, high off the glass, and now over the backboard. Keeping it alive there was Kurt Thomas. Nash on the push to Marion, elevates, and fouled at the top there by Josh Howard. A late whistle, but a correct call, and it will send Marion to the line. And we have a timeout, 2:29 to go. Yeah, I know Eddie Johnson would like to see a little more defense from Nowitzki at times as an all-around player in the league, but boy, this guy can play on the offensive end.
Pete Newell would love this move right here, Tom. I mean, just to fake up a little bit and then a reverse left hand. Look like Eddie Johnson.
They still love Steve Nash here in the Big D. Mavericks 46, Suns 37. Tim Mitchell's has several types of fresh cut trees as well as wreaths, swags, and a variety of house decor for your holiday celebration. Tim Mitchell's Christmas Trees has 5 retail locations throughout the valley to serve you. Open daily from 9 a.m. to 10 p.m. The Mavs still doing damage in deep. Eddie Johnson, the points in the paint now up to 30.
Yeah. How many Christmas trees do you have in your house?
We've got one big one. It's artificial. And then we got a couple little ones kind of sprinkled around the house. How about you? Yeah, you usually, last year you had 3, didn't you?
Yeah, we have 3 again.
Are they live?
No.
No?
They're
Okay.
not.
No fire hazards in your house?
No.
You know, did I miss something as we were going to a break? Did you say Dirk Nowitzki was a lot like Eddie Johnson?
Yeah.
Okay. A pasty version.
The pasty version.
Okay. 46-38 Dallas.
Had to get me back here.
Oh, yeah. It could be a pasty gangsta comment. Daniels shut down there by Raja Bell, and now it's Nowitzki in the paint. 4 points in the paint, absolutely, for the Mavericks.
And he makes up his mind he's going to shoot it. That's when you have to run at him. Forget it, make him pass it. I don't know if Dirk's that great a passer. You know, he loves to score the ball. I think you have to leave your man and just go.
3 players now scoring in double figures for the Mavericks, led by Nowitzki and his 14 points. Dallas now with 32 in the paint. Diao off the front iron, and here comes Josh Howard. who just pulled away rebound number 8 here in the first half. They go right back to Nowitzki, milking it along the baseline, and look at the strong rebound by Roger Bell.
But also see the fact the Suns ran and made a shot attempt tough for him.
Diao had it in the air, got it off to Marion. He draws the foul, tripped up there by Sagana Diop. And Marion will go back to the line.
You can't beat teams, Tom, when you're allowing 2 areas. One, in the paint. I mean, everything is coming in the paint for this basketball team. Suns a better defensive team lately than we've seen tonight. You can't beat teams when you give them a high percentage of attempts as they're giving the Mavericks right now in this basketball game. And they need to find a way to take that away from them. Because you think about it, they don't get to the line enough to counter what they're giving up on the other end in terms of in the paint. That's their 7th free throw attempt in the ballgame.
Sean Marion now has 7 points here in the first half. 3 of 6 from the free throw line for Sean Marion. So a good sign that he's been to the line frequently, but has missed 3. Inside, Josh Howard with the putbacks. Howard has 9 rebounds. Nowitzki has 9 rebounds for Dallas as a team out-rebounding Phoenix by 4. Nash throws it up over his head on Sagana Diop, stepping out of bounds there. Devin Harris. Suns will have it with 1 minute, 1 second to go here in the first half.
Suns ended the first quarter with a nice little run to get themselves within 6. And I think it's important for them to have a couple of good possessions here to end this quarter to feel good about themselves going into the locker room. That time, Steve just got caught. He didn't really know where Diop was coming from to block his shot and had a tough attempt there.
Suns as a team shooting just 37% from the field here in the half. Raja lobs it out now to Kurt Thomas. Nash face up now on Diop, wants to pull him back. Nowitzki runs over to switch out on Nash. The former mates, Nash right by Nowitzki, collision, and Nash will go to the line. He hits the floor along with Devin Harris.
Got the matchup they wanted, and that's what you want to do. Get a big guy guarding Steve Nash. Mavericks have not been doing a lot of switching to start this game. That time, Steve had to take advantage of him, and Devin Harris in the painted area. He should know better. He's been in the league a year.
And a knee to the gut for Devin Harris. Looking at Nash and Nowitzki, when Dirk switched out defensively, it's pretty incredible to think that so many people talked about them breaking away from each other and how dependent they were as players on the court, as good friends. But Eddie, their first year apart, Steve Nash and Dirk Nowitzki both made first-team All-NBA for the first time in their career.
Yeah, well, the people who were saying that were the ones that don't understand the game, per se, because you could see that both of these guys can really act alone. They didn't need each other's help at all. They were just playing with one another and looked good doing it.
The lead is now 10 for the Mavericks. Inside of 30 seconds to go, second quarter. Nash gets a step on Harris, bounces into Diop, and there is the whistle by Joe DeRosa. And back to the line will go Steve Nash, who's a perfect 3 of 3 from the stripe.
And I know Mike D'Antoni really wouldn't want to see Steve Nash doing this all the time, but it's almost like he has to, because the Suns, if they want to get in this game in the second half, they have to get to the free throw line. I think it's pretty evident that they're having a difficult time stopping the Mavericks in the paint. So they have to find a way to counter what's happening to them in terms of the high percentage shots the Mavericks are getting.
Nash, who had 30 points, 9 assists, and 8 rebounds in the first meeting with the Mavericks in Phoenix on opening night, now has 16, but has 2 assists so far. So the assist total is down. The shots are up.
I'll tell you what, a single-figure deficit is a lot better than double in the minds of a player when he goes into the locker room. So this is an important possession.
Devin Harris threw up a wild shot to beat the buzzer to end the first half. It would not fall, and we have reached halftime here at American Airlines Center. Dirk Nowitzki with 14 points leading the way for the Mavericks, who also got 12 points and 9 rebounds off the bench from Josh Howard. Steve Nash, 16 for Phoenix. And we will hand it off to Kevin Ray and Tom Chambers, the Verizon Wireless Halftime Report. Coming up next on UPN 45, Mavericks leading the Suns by 8. Welcome back to Dallas, where the Mavericks lead the Suns 52-44 here at halftime. Dallas outscored the Suns 30-24 in the opening period, 22-20 in the second. Tom Leander back with EJ Eddie Johnson. No, that's not Eddie. This is Eddie. Yeah, that would be Eddie. And I'm the pasty gangsta.
You are.
Is that from the Pinstripes? Nope. Is that what that was all about?
Yeah, you are.
Okay.
Gangster.
Kind of like that. Never felt rough and tough before. The Suns are searching for their high-octane offense. Where's it gone? This is game number 4. They're shooting 37% from the field in the first half.
Yeah, I'd like to say it's Dallas's defense, but I don't think that's the problem. I think the Suns settling for too many outside shots. They finally decided to get aggressive, Tom, and go to the basket. They got 13 free throw attempts. I think they're going to need to get that done because the Mavericks are killing them in the paint, and then they're killing them on second chance points, and the Suns cannot continue to allow that to happen in the second half. They're going to be in trouble.
Guards constantly penetrating right down the middle for Dallas. Jason Terry along with Devin Harris. Time now to check tonight's Gila River Casino's winners board. Gila River Casino's where the winners play. And let's take a look at some of the leading scores. Steve Nash doing most of the shooting for the Suns. We talked about his assist total being down. Sean Marion, if he hits 3 more of his free throws, this is an even closer game here in the first half.
It's been a tough year for Sean Marion from the free throw line, obviously. It's below 70% right now. You're talking about a guy that was flirting with 90% for most of the year. But Steve, field goal attempts will even out. I don't worry about that at all. He understands the game, and he'll start to move it to get guys open. And Kurt Thomas, I think, will be key in this game, Tom, because I think the Suns are going to have to need him to knock down that shot if he's going to be setting that screen for Steve Nash.
For the Dallas Mavericks, led in scoring by Dirk Nowitzki's 14 points, had 9 rebounds, and about to play again off the bench of Josh Howard.
Well, their bench outscored the Suns 17-3. The Suns are known throughout the league of having the bench that will destroy you. The Mavericks right now have a plus 14 there, and Josh Howard has been a guy for the last few years that has been a thorn in the Phoenix Suns side. They have not had an easy opportunity in trying to stop this guy. You expect Jason Terry and Dirk Nowitzki to score offensively, and I'll take 14 points from Dirk Nowitzki. I mean, he normally can give you 18 to 20 in a half, so I think the key guy right there is Josh Howard and Devin Harris when he steps on the floor.
Dallas Mavericks 7-3 here at home this season, come in with a 15-6 record. The Suns are trying to end a 2-game losing skid after winning 9 in a row. Let's break down Josh Howard a little more, coming off that sprained ankle, his second game back.
Well, a herky-jerky type game. And what I mean, you really don't know what you're going to get from him when he's attacking you offensively. He has the ability to actually post you up. You know, he has nice moves, you know, and he's very rangy, and then defensively he can bother you as well. And so the Suns are going to have to find a way to get a hand on this guy and make things a little bit more difficult, I think, than what they did in the first half.
Helping to ease the loss of one Michael Finley. Of course, Michael Finley headed for San Antonio. He was the amnesty player for this Dallas Mavericks team that saved over $50 million in waiving Michael Finley. But, you know, Dirk Nowitzki now just 1/3 remains from the big 3. Nash is in Phoenix. Finley goes to the Spurs. And Cuban's got to think, you know, why Western Conference foes?
Yeah, you're right. I mean, but, you know, in losing Finley, what they addressed was they lost a guy that probably would have been a problem because he would have lost minutes anyway. You know, I mean, Josh Howard and they were gaining ground on him, and they were going to command more minutes. So that was an easy opportunity for them to get rid of a guy that really would take up a lot of their minutes that they wouldn't want to give.
Still wonder, though, if Finley could come back to hunt this Dallas Mavericks team, playing now for the San Antonio Spurs, and actually last night led an overtime charge for San Antonio against the Clippers. And everybody knows what Nash did to this Dallas team last season in the playoffs. Nowitzki passed Nash. Rebounded there by Boris Diaw. Boris in the first half, 3 of 10 from the field. Raja Bell to the 10th floor, but could not finish.
Looking for contact.
A tough break.
He was looking for contact, and that's what happens sometimes when you look for contact. Take your eye off the rim, and the ball doesn't go down.
Suns needed that hoop to get off to a good start here in the second half, but Dallas now turns it over. Raja Bell coming off the 24-point game against the Hornets. Now 2 of 7 from the field. He has 6 points so far.
Raja Bell normally completes that play there.
Caught between laying it in and jamming it down. Diaw works off the Nash screen and ripping the cords. Boris Diaw, his 4th field goal, now with 8 points to go along with 6 boards and 3 assists for 3D.
Well, Dallas looks a little flat to start the half, and the Suns need to continue to try to take advantage of it.
Suns are going to need more offense from Boris Diaw. Get him more aggressive, taking shots, going to the hoop. Again, without James Jones, without Leandro Barbosa. Jason Terry right down Main Street, and he couldn't put it down. Nash now on the push. His wingman to the right. Kurt Thomas draws the foul. Bucket and one for Kurt Thomas off another tasty dish from Steve Nash.
Dirk Nowitzki, I don't know if he was speaking German there, but it's close to some bad English in terms of profanity directed at the official, and he just walked away. Unbelievable.
It helps to know many languages.
I don't think it was German. I kind of read his lip. And I'm having a tough time watching the play on that end because the guy with the Santa Claus outfit on is really distorting me. I mean, I thought I had
distracting, doing all that kind of stuff.
improved my eyesight.
Josh Howard comes up short. Sean Marion another rebound, ducking inside to force the turnover was Daniels. Josh Howard misses again, and then over the top on Sean Marion. Frustrating series there for Howard.
What about the hustle of Sean? No, he could have gave up on the play and stayed behind Howard. He rushed and got in front of him and was able to get in position to get the rebound right back again. And that's why you never give up on the play.
To beat the elite teams in the NBA, the Suns need that kind of effort, that kind of production from Sean Marion. Kurt Thomas driving to his left, finishing with his right, and we have a 2-point game.
I know Eric Dampier is like, God, dog, I thought I had a break. Mari's not here. It's Kurt Thomas going to work on me.
Nowitzki left elbow, trying to end the Suns' run. Kurt Thomas desperately wants that rebound. It winds up in the hands of Nash. Suns can tie or take the lead. Dallas's biggest lead has been 11 in this game. Suns led by as many as 7 in the opening period. Boris Diaw floats it to nobody. Turnover Phoenix, but hold on now. One of the officials say it was tipped. Joe DeRosa, I think, is going to overrule that and give it to Dallas.
It is. If that stayed the Suns' ball, then something's wrong. Because Boris Diaw, he saw me. And I understand. Sometimes guys make mistakes.
I got a shooter over
He
there.
grew up watching me. He saw me over here.
Retired like 7 years ago. Mavericks now 0 of 6 to begin the second half.
It was a good pass, though, if it was to me.
I don't know. They have a whole lot of zip to it. Nowitzki, double team, Marion and Bell inside Daniels, and he will head to the line. Fouled there by Kurt Thomas, who picks up his second personal foul.
Well, the Suns have done probably what they talked about at halftime. Hey, let's get back into the game in a hurry. They're here now. Now the challenge is to stay. And that means take away the things that got Dallas the lead to start the game. And that's keep them off the glass and not allow them to continue to get inside opportunities.
Marquise Daniels now in his 3rd season out of Auburn, undrafted. They gave him that 6-year contract going into last season, but he was beset by an ankle injury and then an appendectomy, so he never really was 100% in his 2nd season. Airmailing it is Kurt Thomas for Sean Marion, met at the top by Dirk Nowitzki. Marion still going after the tip. The defensive play there by Dirk. Maybe he's listening to his head coach, Avery Johnson, ducking the head and connecting Marquise Daniels. He really flourished in those 8 games when Josh Howard went out. Averaging 18 points. Raja Bell going deep. And 2 Mavs there above the cylinder. Ripping it away is Josh Howard, who now has double-figure reboundings with 10. So the double-double for Josh Howard to go along with the 12 points.
Suns in danger of being right back at square one after getting themselves right back in the game.
Nowitzki, the soft touch off the glass. All facets of the game. Nash airmails this one from Marion, who drops it in. Sean Marion now, 9 points to go along with 15 rebounds already for the Matrix. He has just been pounding the boards here early in the 3rd quarter, 4 minutes deep. Now tracking Daniels, floats one up on Marion. Kurt Thomas trying to corral the rebound. Here comes Daniels again. He's nearly beheaded by Kurt Thomas, and down goes Daniels.
Nearly. Nearly. I mean, nearly?
Well, the head is still on the shoulders.
Look at the headband. I mean, look, listen, now that is not a good, that's not a good way to wear your headband right there. I mean, he just took it off. That hurt. I mean, and he was dazed. You sounded like that line, down goes Frazier. You sounded like Cosell.
Well, not a laughing matter to Marquise Daniels. They call it a flagrant penalty 1 foul on Kurt Thomas for hammering Daniels. And he's still a little woozy. Misfires on the first free toss.
He is. Well, if you're going to do a flagrant, you got to make sure the guy's woozy, too woozy to make his free throw.
Yeah, get your money's worth. One more for Daniels, and then Dallas will have it on the side. Currently leading by 6. Both teams having gone to the free throw line 14 times. That was attempt number 15 now for Dallas. Suns just 2 of 9 3-point shooting in this game. The lead is 7. Eddie House out there now for Phoenix with Nash, Kurt Thomas, Sean Marion, and Raja Bell.
We need some house heroics here. We really do.
Haven't seen a lot of that on the road so far this season. Eddie puts a paw on that one, goes out of bounds, and Dallas will have it with 18 on the shot clock.
It's funny because, you know, when I played, I enjoyed being on the road. I had my better games on the road, and, you know, it just amazed me sometimes when guys only play well at home, because in a sense, I didn't like playing well at home because everybody expected you to do well. On the road, they expect you to fail, and you concentrate a little bit more.
Hoop for Marquise Daniels. You just like being peppered with insults.
Well,
that motivates you.
It focuses you. Yes.
Marion thought about passing up the 3, then cans it. 3-pointer by Sean Marion in the zone with AutoZone. $100 to Phoenix Suns charities as they plug their 3rd 3-pointer of the night. And Marion and the Suns pulled within 6.
Sean only about 28% coming into the game from behind that area, but that wide open and had that much time, you have to take that shot.
And we have seen opponents daring Marion to shoot that 3. Rolls off, Dampier, offensive rebound, drops the shoulder on Thomas, who would not budge. Loose ball foul, I believe, on Raja Bell, and Raja needs to control himself.
That should be on Eric Dampier. I mean, Eric Dampier with his offhand just drove Raja Bell to the floor.
Second personal foul on Raja Bell. We have seen the emotions getting away from Raja at times, but not happy at all with the call.
Well,
check that 3rd personal now on Raja.
I wouldn't be happy either. I mean, I think Derek Collins blew this one here. I mean, Eric Dampier just basically shoved him away.
Inside of 7 minutes, 3rd quarter. One-on-one battle there between Marion and Nowitzki. Pump fake, and Marion gets a piece of it. The block by the Matrix.
Didn't allow Dirk to be comfortable in facing up with him. Got a hand on the ball.
Nash trying to turn that into 2, but came up short. Nash so far in this one, 5 of 13 shooting. He's a perfect 5 of 5 at the line. The Suns, 3 players, double figure scoring, led by Nash is 16. Marion has 12. Kurt Thomas has 10. Dallas working on their 6-point advantage. Put it in the hands of Josh Howard. Drives, spins on Bell, rolls off, going after the offensive rebound. And a loose ball foul on Phoenix. The very active Josh Howard. And busted for the personal there, Kurt Thomas, who's picked up his 4th personal foul.
If the guy faces, you can't let him be too comfortable. You got to use your long wingspan to try to bother him. That's what Sean did, shook the ball loose. Dirk didn't have much time to get it off and had to force a tough one.
Sean Marion, the antagonist there on Dirk Nowitzki. Nowitzki has put up 17 shots in this game, is connected on 8, has 16 so far in the ball game. And to the Suns bench goes Kurt Thomas with that 4th personal. Right to the rim, Marquise Daniels.
They're just finding the mismatch, and they just exploit it.
5th field goal for Daniels. He has 15 points. And now Nash circles back on Dirk. Behind the back, double team, finds Boris Diaw, hesitated on the shot. Here's Eddie House for 3. And the rebound to Eric Dampier. Once again, the Suns need a more aggressive Boris Diaw when he gets the ball that close to the hoop. Nowitzki baseline, Jay, net for Dirk.
Yeah, you know, I mean, he gets that type of look. He doesn't get many, you know, because always someone is in his vicinity. He gets that type of look. More than not, it's going down.
2 Mavs with a double-double as Nowitzki now has 18 points to go along with his 10 rebounds. Howard has the double-double as well. Harris runs into Diaw. Nash sets up Marion with the left hand, and he'll go back to the line. Sean already with 6 free throw attempts so far here this evening, and we have a timeout. 5:15 to go here in the third, and Dirk is draining it.
Yeah, he is. He's keeping the Suns at bay, and Suns have done a good job so far in not allowing him to go on one of those crazy runs offensively, but don't give him that open shot. You'll be taking it out of bounds.
Suns pulled to within 2 here in the third quarter, but then the Mavs have gone on a 13-5 run. Another quiet third quarter for the Phoenix Suns. 11 points so far in the period, but Eddie, go back over the last 3 games, their numbers are down in the third.
Yeah, it really is. And, you know, fatigue obviously plays a part, and there's no doubt about it. And every team is going to go through stretches where they're going to have a tough time doing what probably got them to a point where they were being dominant. And I think the Suns right now not only maybe have gotten a little fatigued, but also teams have figured them out, and now they have to make the adjustment. And that's what the Suns did all last year, and this is just another period where they're going to have to do it again.
Sean Marion at the line sinks the first one. So much talk going on around the league. Players that are saying they'd love to be invited to play for USA basketball. Jerry Colangelo starting to make some calls. You would think he doesn't even need to call Sean Marion. He can just talk to him in person, but that Sean, no doubt, would be a candidate as well for that team.
Well, I think, you know, based on what I heard out of the last Olympic is the fact that Sean Marion was the ultimate team guy and the guy that worked the hardest out of all the superstars that were there. He and Tim Duncan. So I think Sean basically, it's his call. I would believe that he would automatically be there, I would think.
Larry Brown with some high praise for Sean Marion coming out of that experience, which was not a positive one, of course, for the team in general. Eddie House cans it from the outside. That's a 2-pointer for Eddie House. Nice little jolt off the Suns bench. Eddie now with 5 points, and that is all the scoring from the Suns bench here tonight. Jason Terry off the Nowitzki screen, and they just continue to pound you with that pick and roll, the pick and pop. And that was one of the messages on the Suns board in the locker room. Constant pick and roll alert on defense.
Well, any way they can get the ball to Dirk, they're going to try to do it, and Jason again is the guy.
There is the finish. The aggressiveness by Boris Diaw did not look to dish, just took it right to the cup, and it's a 4-point game.
Well, why not? I mean, you get a step on Eric Dampier, no way it's going to get to you. You have to take advantage of that.
Good to see the shot total up for Diaw. He's put up 13 shots. He's hit 5, 6 rebounds, 4 assists with the 10 points. Draining it for Dallas. Jason Terry hitting the 3-pointer. That's a big answer right there here in the third at the 4-minute mark. Suns were starting to make a bit of a run. Jason Terry now has 14 for the Mavericks. He's always shooting somewhere between 45 and 50% from the field as well. High percentage jump shooter. Sean Marion absolutely for 3. His second big shot here in the third period. Right back at you, Jason Terry. Another $100 to Suns Charities from AutoZone.
You know, a Suns Maverick game would not be a game if you don't go on runs on both ends. And right now we're seeing both teams now in a groove, and let's see who can get the stop first.
Eric Dampier, who played only 16 minutes in the Mavericks' last game against the Lakers with the cram, and Boris Diaw, the direct hit. And it's a 4-point game once again. Diaw now with a dozen. Trying to develop some confidence with that outside J. Jason Terry, shadowed there by Marion. Eddie House on the 7-footer. Nowitzki wants to back him down, rams right into Marion, who's busted for the personal. Marion snuck up behind Dirk Nowitzki, hands in the air. The feet appeared to be set, but no, the foul called by Ron Oleziak.
Well, you know, Dirk, he cries after every possession that he misses, so eventually he's going to get the call, and I've seen it before.
I don't think Sean liked the call much. But let's go back to Marion, who's helped the Suns recover in this period. He and Jason Terry hitting some threes in the period.
Well, you know, the Suns are going to need more of that from Sean Marion, not just the threes, but just extreme dominance to win this game.
Suns on an 11-5 push here in quarter number 3. It pulled to within 4. Time for our Banner heart-pumping moment. Brought to you by Banner Health, and we take you back to last May Day for Steve Nash and the Phoenix Suns. Game 6, Western Conference semifinal. Suns rallying from 16 down in the fourth quarter. Nash tying it up, sending the game to overtime. Of course, the Suns went on to win it and eliminate this Mavericks team, but not before Dirk was dissing Jason Terry right there on the floor for pulling back defensively on Nash.
Well, I understand why Dirk was upset, because Jason Terry did make a mistake. I mean, why would you back up knowing the Suns needed a three? And you back up on the play? So I can understand that, but again, the series was still available. It wasn't over. You just don't disrupt the flow and chemistry of your team, and that's when he should just bit his tongue and just went to the bench and then had him get it to him then, not on the court in front of millions of people.
Dallas wins that game. They head back to Phoenix for a game 7. Eddie House going deep. Too strong, rebounded there by Josh Howard. And he will take it into the front court himself. Howard now with 13 rebounds. Shawn Marion has 16 for Phoenix. Breaking free inside, all alone, Josh Howard from the Nowitzki feed.
That's a defensive mistake there. I mean, two guys were on Howard when he cut, and then both of them let him go right to the rim.
Back to a 7-point advantage for the Mavericks. Diaw in the face of Sagana Diop. Turns, spins, he goes Kareem on Diop.
I would clear the floor every time Dampier and Diop gets out and guard Diaw. Let him go one-on-one. Get out of the way.
The right-handed hook, and it's Devin Harris trying to respond now for Dallas. Rebound again, Marion up ahead, Nash. Raja Bell for 3. Marion another rebound. That is 18 so far for Shawn Marion. And we still have a $1:45 to go in quarter number 3. Eddie House pump fake past Nowitzki. Oh, return to sender, says Sagana Diop. Swats it into the front row.
But you know what? That's okay. I would love to see Eddie House do more of that. And only because guys will just run at him defensively and knowing he's going to pass it if they get to him. You got to put it on the floor and keep people honest. Suns still have the ball.
Sagana Diop averages only 18 minutes a game, but he's 8th in the NBA in block shots per game. Quick fire for Raja Bell off the inbounds play. Dallas's lead is 5. Mavericks happy to slow down the tempo, work the two-man game. It's Terry and Diop. Diop moving backwards on that screen. And now in the corner, Boris Diaw. On Terry defensively, but he still pumps it in. Tough shot by Jason Terry over the very long Boris Diaw. 75-68 nearing the 1-minute mark here of the third quarter. Nash dropped the shoulder on Devin Harris, and now in the corner, Marion does not catch any iron on that 3 attempt.
Steve had to do that over. He would have saw he had a layup.
Josh Howard, tough shot, hits nothing but glass. And then Raja Bell fires it right in the lap of Terry. Open 15-footer, and he can't capitalize. Eddie House steps up along the baseline, ripping the cords. Eddie House. The Suns now within 5.
Tom, what you have to understand is that's the confidence coming from your coach, because Eddie House hasn't shot the ball well, and if he had not taken that shot, Mike D'Antoni probably took him out of the game. But he wants him to keep shooting because he knows as a shooter, it's the only way he's going to get back in the rhythm.
That is pure. Dirk Nowitzki had his eyes on the hoop, and he now has 21 points and 11 rebounds for Dallas. Back up to a 7-point advantage. 1 second separating the game clock from the shot clock here to end the third period. Devin Harris, a defensive assignment on Nash. Diaw waiting to set the screen. Diaw pops, pump fake, over to Bell. Now it's Nash, open to end the period, and he cannot connect. Right in front of the Mavericks bench, and Dallas will head to the fourth and final quarter, leading the Suns by 7.
And the Suns just going to have to find a way to get a stop for a period of possessions to get back in the game. I think they found their offensive rhythm. Now they have to get some defensive stops in order to beat this Maverick team on their home floor.
Fourth quarter coming up on UPN 45, and you are watching Phoenix Suns basketball live from Dallas.
Welcome back to American Airlines Center in Dallas, Texas, where the Mavericks lead the Suns 77-70. Let's check tonight's Jack in the Box inside the box score. Second chance points. have destroyed the Suns tonight. 17-2 from the Dallas Mavericks. Sean Marion, he's going for a 25 rebound night, I believe, Tom Leander. And Dirk Nowitzki, well, just another day at the office, 21-11.
That would be a career high if he does. Sean Marion's rebounding career high is 20. He's already matched his season high with the 18 boards. And we just received word, too, Dallas will go the rest of the way without Marquise Daniels. He is out with a strained neck after being belted by Kurt Thomas. And Daniels will not return here tonight for the Mavericks.
You know, on that play, and I'm sure the league is going to review it now because Daniels is out of the game, you can look at it one of two ways. I mean, Kurt Thomas was swinging for the basketball, and that happens a lot in this game where guys swing across the top of someone's head to try to swipe the ball away. And unfortunately for Kurt Thomas, he's not a high leaper. So basically, he swung and he got hit. So it's evident that he was going for the ball, and even Marquise Daniels brought the ball back down, which changed the way Kurt wanted to swing for the basketball. So it could go either way. I think it was just a bang-bang basketball play, and unfortunately for Marquise, he got the hit on the head.
Called the flagrant one foul there on Kurt Thomas. Dallas with possession to begin the fourth quarter. Suns outscored the Mavericks 26-25 in the third. Jason Terry is money from the outside, and he now has 18 points. Second leading scorer for the Mavs here tonight behind Nowitzki's 21. Suns with 4 players in double figures, led by Marion, 17 points to go along with those 18 rebounds. Forrest out inside, swatted away, rejected there by Dampier.
Should have used the left hand. You know, he used the right, which allowed Dampier to get an angle on it and block it.
And now Dampier right down the lane earns a ticket to the line. That's something that we have not seen from Boris Diaw, going to that left hand. Needs to add that to his arsenal.
He really does, because what it does, it blocks the defender from being able to get you right there. He took the ball right to him, which allowed him to really get a hand on it, and then running the floor, he gets an opportunity to get to the free throw line.
Talked about Dampier coming over here to the Mavericks in the sign and trade with the Warriors. The Mavericks giving up Eduardo Nahara and 2 first-round draft picks in that sign and trade for Dampier, who does have 9 rebounds so far here this evening. Of course, had that career season in his last year with the Warriors, which meant quite a bit of cash from his new boss, Mark Cuban.
And the problem with big guys, especially when they get new big contracts, is they think they need to expand their game. But you know, Dampier, he got his contract based on his ability to rebound and block shots, and that's what Dallas Mavericks want from him.
Right back to Dampier in the low post. Sean Marion meets him at the top. What an impressive swap there by Sean Marion.
Yes, that was.
Dampier went for the right-handed hook, and Marion was airborne to send it away. Jim Jackson on the floor now for Phoenix. Can he find a little bit of lightning in that game? Sticks it from the outside for Jim Jackson. His first hoop and the first bench points for the Suns from somebody other than a player named House.
Yeah, you'd like to see Jim Jackson get in the groove, because we've seen if he gets streaky, he can really hurt.
And then right back comes Dirk Nowitzki. You just know when he releases it, that's going down. Raja Bell, hand in the face from Dirk, and he finds the mark. Raja Bell, just his 3rd field goal here tonight. Lead is 8. Terry adds to it with a 2.
That's getting downright ugly for the Suns in terms of getting stopped. They're knocking down shots, but they're not finding a way to stop anyone.
Too strong by Raja, and there's Eddie House right on the spot to pop it in. Back to an 8-point advantage. You know, when you look at this Dallas team, you wonder which defense will show up in their wins. They give only 89 points up to their opponent. In their losses, 105.
Now look at this. They had a 2-man game with 2 7-footers. You ever seen that before? I've never seen that in probably the history of the league. They had 2 7-footers running a 2-man game.
Shows you how versatile Dirk Nowitzki is. Power forward with a point guard mentality.
I mean, this doesn't even look right. What has the league become of? You know?
It's that European invasion. We told you off the outset of this broadcast, too, that Dirk, first European player to make All-NBA first team. And the free throw, the first one missed there by Josh Howard. The Mavericks, look at their free throw shooting, 11 of 20. They have missed 9 free throws.
Yeah, that's what's given the Suns an opportunity. Suns normally don't get to the line much, only 18 a game. They're right at their average, and so it's really helped that the Mavericks have struggled from the line.
The striking rebound totals, meanwhile, for Sean Marion, who has 19, and Josh Howard, who has 16 rips. Diao puts it on the floor, floats it up with the right hand, cleared by Dampier, into the speedy hands of Devin Harris. Nowitzki, pump fake, open look, and down it goes for Dirk.
That's a brilliant head fake. You have to honor it, and he got Sean Marion up in the air, one dribble up and in.
Dirk has 25 now for Dallas. Jim Jackson gets it to Diao. No look behind the back, Raja Bell. Now Marion, corner pocket three for Sean Marion. In the zone with AutoZone, another $100 to Suns Charities. Sean Marion now with 20 points. And Marion has lit up 3 3-pointers in this contest.
Oh, he's looking at a 20-20 effort.
Jason Terry's miss. Rebounded by the smallest man on the floor, Eddie House. Nash on the Suns bench here early in the fourth quarter. Devin Harris, he can fly. And he can finish.
Yeah, and Eddie House should just let him go. I mean, once he got the head of steam past him, you have to turn it over to Sean Marion and see if he can change the attempt. You just can't foul him and just send them to the line. And the Suns are really destroying themselves, Tom, just with their inability to get stopped from 2 or 3 possessions to get back in the game. And Devin Harris right to the hoop.
Ten-point lead for the Mavericks here in the fourth quarter. Time now for tonight's APS Power matchup. APS, the power to make it happen. Our matchup tonight, the Celtics and the Pacers. Indiana going without Ron Artest. He is inactive after demanding a trade from the Pacers. Paul Pierce with 22 points so far, and the Celtics leading Indiana 80-69. And Eddie, there is no hotter topic around the NBA than where will Ron Artest wind up? Well, I can tell you 2 places he won't wind up. Dallas or Phoenix. Both head coaches today asked about it in their pregame press conferences. Avery Johnson saying, nope, Mavericks are happy with their players. Mike D'Antoni, ditto for the Phoenix Suns.
And, you know, to me, if all he asked was to be traded, I'd still play him. But obviously it's something else. You know, it's something that they're not talking about, that maybe a disruption in the locker room, a disruption in following coaches' orders or what have you. So, you know, Ron Artest again in the news, and all I say is just be quiet. I mean, let your agent talk. You know, players want to be traded. That's something that's a given in this league, and I don't have a problem with his frustration in not getting plays called to him on regularity, because I think he's a heck of an offensive player, but that's the one guy that shouldn't say anything. Just be quiet for a month at least.
Mike D'Antoni saying of the Ron Artest sweepstakes, now we don't really have any needs. When we're healthy, we have everybody we need. And that includes when they get Leandro Barbosa. Hopefully Amari Stoudemire back. Devin Harris with a 3-point play, and then back comes Steve Nash. 18 points now for Nash.
You know, how many times are the Suns going to make a run, get close, and being pushed back? You know, sooner or later you got to stand up, and this is a good time to do it. Only 8 minutes to go in a basketball game. You know, the Mavericks are real good late in the basketball game, especially with Dirk Nowitzki on the floor.
Dirk backing down on Diao, creating space. This one wouldn't fall for Dirk, but it winds up into the hands of Devin Harris. Off the bench with 8 points so far for Dallas.
Eric Dampier, give him credit there. Long arms, got a hand on the basketball.
Harris trying to set up Nowitzki, saves it, but into the hands of Jim Jackson. Here come the Suns. To the left, Raja Bell, and now it's Nash. Quickly back on defense, the Mavericks in transition mode inside. Forced, yeah, air mails it for Jim Jackson, who lays it off the glass.
I'm going to tell you what's special about that, because Boris Diaw recognized it wasn't Sean Marion, it was Jim Jackson. He threw the ball below the rim instead of above the rim. But, you know, it seems like it doesn't mean anything, but that tells you the value of him and how great a passer he is.
Knowing the age and the skill level of the player you are passing it to. Diaw now up to midcourt, Raja Bell. Suns on the move again, trying to cut into this 7-point lead. Jim Jackson, the former Maverick, fadeaway, front iron. And it goes out of bounds off of Nowitzki and the Mavericks. The Suns will have it. 6:56 to go here in the fourth.
You know, Jim Jackson had a mismatch, and I give it to him, but he had it way out. You know, that gave Jason Terry an opportunity to bother him on the dribble back. You're not allowed to dribble the ball backwards, more than 5 seconds. He should have got rid of it, reset himself, and got the ball again.
A hold and a foul on that inbounds. Jason Terry hanging on to Raja Bell.
Yeah, that's 2 shots. You know, anytime you foul before the ball is passed in, then you get 2 opportunities. That's huge.
And the clock is stopped at 6:56. Even better for the Suns. Tonight's game brought to you by Southwest Airlines, official airline of the NBA. Southwest Airlines, a symbol of freedom. Talked to Raja Bell before the game. You know what his pregame routine is? Cup of coffee and a Red Bull.
Yeah, well,
It is a high energy there for Raja.
yeah, it works.
He is hopped up.
You know, the camera was just on Avery Johnson. I wanted to comment on what a great job he's done with this team since he's taken over. You take over from Don Nelson, and you get the play out of this team as he's done since he took over late last year. He's done a great job.
You know, Mark Cuban actually questioned the fact that he brought Avery Johnson in so late into the season, but so successful. Jason Terry hits the three in the corner right in front of the Suns bench.
Yeah, then he turns and he smirks. I've never done anything
I was
like
just about to say, like, you've never done it. Nash rejected by Dampier. Suns still have possession when out of bounds off of Dampier.
So obviously someone on the coach's sideline said something, but Steve Nash didn't get it up quick enough. Half a second, get it up, would have got a goaltending.
A couple of big blocks by Dampier, who also has 12 rebounds in this game. Quick fire, Raja Bell drills it from the outside, and the Suns again within 6. Still within striking distance of this Mavs team. Nowitzki drives to his left. Boris Diaw blanketed on Nowitzki, forcing the miss over the top. Dampier inside position by Kurt Thomas.
That's only their second team foul, so the Suns going to have to get them closer to that penalty as we wind down here. But excellent position by Kurt Thomas, who was battling over there, and he has a tough job because Eric Dampier is so long, and not just his height, but his arms. I mean, he has a tremendous wingspan.
Including tonight, the Suns playing 8 of their next 10 games on the road. Nowitzki out now for Dallas, with his team leading by 6 and a foul on the floor against the Mavericks. 6:02 to go here in the fourth. Both teams with 3 team fouls at this juncture. Jim Jackson, Nash, Diaw, Kurt Thomas, and Raja Bell, the 5 on the floor. Straight, but short for Steve Nash. Now 6 of 17 shooting for Phoenix, and back down the other end of the court. A foul on Steve Nash of Phoenix. And we have a timeout. 5:53 to go here in the fourth. The Mavericks, after watching their 5-game win streak snapped by the Lakers in their last home game, they lead the Suns by 6.
If you want a free shirt, give it up for the audience.
93-87 Dallas here in the fourth. Little turbulence, a little choppy flying in here to Dallas yesterday, and tonight's High Flyers presented by Southwest Airlines, official airline of the NBA. Southwest Airlines, a symbol of freedom.
I didn't feel the choppiness because I'm smooth, like Sean Marion. Smooth, just up and in, real hard. Dirk Nowitzki, little baby dunk, but you know, I give it to him. But there's Sean Marion again, just tips it in. And then Eric Dampier, a little baby dunk for a 7-footer. Not impressive, but the block by Sean Marion, that was huge.
Your attention was diverted once again, like Dan Marley, because of the card game. And I know exactly why you play cards on the plane. You are fearful of that turbulence.
Yes, I am.
Steve Nash, you're correct, has 18 points in this game. 16 came in the first half. Mavericks with the ball, leading by 6. Tom Leander and Eddie Johnson coming your way from Dallas. Boris Diaw had a hand on it as Josh Howard went up. Mavs still in possession. Inside of 10 on the shot clock for Devin Harris. Drives to his left, hangs in the air. Soft touch there by Devin Harris, the all-around game.
Well, you know, Avery Johnson, he's had to give Dirk a rest. Come on, son. I mean, this is when you take advantage of it right here. You know the guys on the floor for the Mavericks are putting their head down trying to go to the hoop.
Nash shut down there by Howard. They want Boris Diaw on the low block on Devin Harris. Diaw drops the shoulder, right-handed hook, tipping now Kurt Thomas. And away come the Mavericks. Shooting 47% from the field. The Suns 42% in this game. Nearing the 5-minute mark here of quarter number 4. Josh Howard going deep for 3. Boarded by Kurt Thomas. Kurt Thomas now 6 rebounds in the game to go along with his 10 points. Nash zigzagging in the lane. Dallas really shutting down defensively there, all the way out on the perimeter. Look at Eric Dampier defending Nash. In the corner, they find an open Raja Bell. Offensive board, reset for Phoenix, courtesy Kurt Thomas. Once again, they go to Diaw, low block, poked away from behind by Devin Harris.
The only way you can stop him is to do that, and Boris Diaw should know better. He's a very good ball handler.
Avery Johnson wants a timeout at the 4:10 mark here of the 4th quarter. Wants to diagram a play and try to add to his 8-point lead here in the 4th and final quarter from Dallas. Dallas outscoring the Suns 18-17 so far here in the 4th. The Suns and the Phoenix Zoo are lighting it up this holiday season. Purchase a minimum of 4 tickets to any Suns game in December and receive a free Zoo Lights ticket with every Suns ticket purchase. To enjoy your $32 savings, visit Suns.com or call 379-SUNS. Jason Terry to inbound. Don't be surprised to see Devin Harris actively participate in this play prior to the game here tonight. That was one of the goals of the Mavericks, to attack Steve Nash. Put it in the hands of Devin Harris, who actually said Steve Nash is not exactly one of the best defenders in the NBA. 2-man game though, Nowitzki and Jason Terry. Marion tips away the pass. They were looking for Nowitzki. Steal by the Matrix. Suns have it inside of 4 minutes to go here in the 4th. Trying to chisel into this 8-point advantage by the Mavs. Nash gets the handoff from Kurt Thomas. Into the lane. Shut down there by Dampier. Jim Jackson for 2. Wouldn't fall, and a loose ball foul on, I believe, Devin Harris of Dallas.
That was big because that was a miss, and they had secured the rebound, and they're going to feel comfortable with themselves. 3:40 and a nice 8-point lead. Now the Suns get an opportunity because Kurt Thomas basically fighting inside, and Devin Harris, what are you doing down there? You're a mouse. Get out of the trap.
Nash hangs in the air. His pass tipped by Nowitzki. Nash gets it back. Whip pass into the corner, Raja Bell. Open is Sean Marion for 3. Absolutely for Sean Marion. In the zone with AutoZone, another $100 to Suns charities. Sean Marion has now pumped in 4 3-pointers here in this game, and the Suns are within 5.
And a huge game for Sean Marion. And Kurt Thomas, hustling outside. Don't worry about it. Good play there. But that's his 5th foul. And back to Sean Marion. Huge. 23 and 19 right now. And this year he hasn't done well from behind the arc, but we know he's streaky, and he has been extremely streaky.
23 points, 19 rebounds for Marion. 1 off his career high in the rebounding department, and there is Nowitzki. At the line, check out the Arizona Sports Report on FSN Arizona nightly at 9:30 p.m. for interviews, game previews, highlights, and player profiles. The ASR gets you up close and personal with the Suns nightly at 9:30 only on FSN Arizona.
Yeah, and I said good play on that Dirk Nowitzki. That wasn't good play. I take that back.
Take back. Nowitzki sticks both free throws. Marion again, the outside offering over the top. Jim Jackson trying to keep it alive, and does. The Suns will have it. 3:04 to go, trailing by 7. Nowitzki now with 27 points, 12 rebounds for the Mavericks. And back into the game will come the defensive specialist, Sagana Diop, and he will replace Eric Dampier. Former 8th overall pick in the 1st round coming out of high school, Sagana Diop. Kurt Thomas, quick fire on the baseline. The lead is down to 5. Kurt Thomas now with the dozen.
We need to stop Thomas.
Suns just keep hanging around. Every time Dallas pulls Out to a 10-point, 11-point lead. Back come the Suns. Nash took a shoulder from Nowitzki. Still trying to strip dirt. Howard along the baseline, held there by Kurt Thomas, and he's done. Number 6 on Kurt Thomas. Checks out 12 points, 7 rebounds.
Yeah, that hurt. That hurt because Kurt was really playing a very good basketball game. Solid defensive effort and then being a bear on the glass. Not a lot of rebounds, but really forced players to foul him inside. And now Suns go back small again with Boris Diaw, and so now they have to rebound by committee.
Diaw in, Thomas out. Point production and also involved in that play, which knocked Marquise Daniels out of this game. And 2:40 to go here in the fourth. Gaudy numbers tonight from Josh Howard in 31 minutes of play. Still with the tight relationship. Steve Nash and Dirk Nowitzki. Well, off the court maybe.
Yeah, look like a charge. We're homers though, right?
Pops out for Howard. Tipped out of there by Marion. So the Suns have it. Still down only 5. The Mavericks now have missed 11 free throws tonight. Nowhere to go for Nash. Bails out to Jim Jackson. Inside of 2.5 minutes to go in the fourth. Jackson shakes the shoulders and pops it from the baseline. Vital bucket there by Jim Jackson.
We've seen this before.
And then another hold as they were heading back down the other end of the court. It's Nash again for the Suns. Suns in the penalty situation, and Sagana dropped to the line.
Let's see why.
So
because he held him on purpose, so let's see why.
50% from the free throw line.
Is he 50? Probably 20 this late in the game.
So the Suns go with the quick foul, and Jop nearly missed everything.
Jop nearly chopped the rim down. That's what he did.
The strategy by D'Antoni, they go with the quick foul on Jop, and he goes 0 for 2 from the line, and Nash snares the rebound.
Well, he'll be out in a minute.
Suns could tie with a 3. Cut the lead to 1 with a hoop. Diaw screening for Nash. Gets it back from Boris. 5 on the shot clock. Nash into the lane. Marion wants another 3. Too strong. Nash is hammered there by Jop after grabbing onto his jersey, going after the offensive rebound. And once again, there's Nash following Jop, but before they can whistle the foul, Avery Johnson calls a timeout. Nash was right in front of Derek Collins, trying to foul Jop, but quickly Avery Johnson beat him to the punch and called TO.
Yeah, he did. It seems like the officials was watching for Avery instead of watching for Jop being fouled.
So the 20-second timeout here with 1:46 to go. An Inhale Life 20-second breather brought to you by the Arizona Department of Health Services, who reminds you to inhale life and be tobacco-free. For information on how to quit smoking, call 800-556-6222 or visit ashline.org. Now, I mentioned Nash was grabbing on the jersey of Jop, going after the offensive rebound. He wanted to pick up the foul right away.
Yeah, and he fouled him there, and they didn't call it. And it's amazing because that's when sometimes fights start, because if you don't call it when you just let an official know you fouled them, and then if you foul them hard, then all of a sudden it's a confrontation. And Suns didn't have a good possession that last time. It was more so them trying to get the ball to Steve. He really didn't have a good angle to do anything with, and so they had to bail out on a three-point shot.
So you've got the hack the shack, and now you've got to chop the chop.
Chop the chop.
Chop the chop. But won't happen here because he's out of the game.
Let's go foul him by the bench.
Mavericks have missed 6 free throws here in the fourth quarter. 5 of 11 from the line in the period. Leading by 3. Ball in their possession. Now in the hands of Nowitzki.
You got to go run at it.
Cross-court Harris. Finds a seam on the baseline. Marion went for the block. But Devin Harris with the finish. Lead is back to 5. Nowhere to go once again for Nash. Rajabell saves the day for Phoenix. Still plenty of time on the shot clock. Nash right to the hoop. Collision, a head-on crash, and a foul on Adrian Griffin. Mark Cuban is up and nearly on the floor underneath the bucket.
We need to call a tackle on Mark Cuban. I mean, how can you get on the floor? And I understand this is his gym. He can do anything he wants. But you can penalize him for doing it. You know, if I don't pay my bill, they come cutting my power off, right? Even though it's your house, you can't still do anything. You got to give him a technical foul. I mean, you can't run there. And, you know, it was iffy. It was a bang-bang. But the owner cannot come on the floor. Come on.
Looked like Griffin may still have been sliding just a touch prior to the contact with Nash, who hits the first free throw. Struggling from the field, perfect from the line. And the lead is back to 3.
Need to stop. I mean, you know it hasn't come in many forms tonight for the Suns, but you need one. And you know who's going to get the basketball.
Two-man game, Terry and Nowitzki. Pops out past the three-point line, spinning on Marion. Marion stays right on Dirk, who draws the foul. To the amazement of Sean Marion. And that's his third personal foul. Nowitzki to the line.
You know, he really forces you to get off your feet. And Sean feels like he didn't foul him. But you got to stay on your feet. I mean, first of all, it's hard to block a shot. And he just kind of seduces you into thinking that you can go for it. And all of a sudden, he's still on the floor, and you're coming down, and he gets the body contact.
Third in the MVP balloting last season, Dirk Nowitzki behind Nash and Shaq. Good to go with both free throws for Nowitzki, who now has 29. Mavs have built the lead back to 5. Nash over Nowitzki, too strong. Devin Harris inside position on Boris Diaw. Mavs fans can taste victory. Avery Johnson jumping up and down at midcourt, calling out the offensive set. Terry looks up at the clock. He'll fire for 3. Rebound Boris Diaw. Here comes Nash and the Suns, trailing by 5. Another miracle in Dallas. Diaw stripped by Dirk. Out of bounds, Phoenix will have it. And a timeout called by Mike D'Antoni and the Suns. They will have the ball. 19.9 to go here in the fourth. They are down by 5.
Yeah, in every game the Dallas Mavericks play against the Suns, they have thoughts of last year to try to prove that maybe they should have won that series. And the Suns right now have a tough road to climb with 19.9 left.
(101-96) Dallas here in the fourth, and now you have 112 million reasons to play Powerball. Tonight's jackpot, an estimated $112 million. Get your tickets today, and don't forget to check for the winning numbers at ArizonaLottery.com. Now it's time for tonight's Powerball Power Play. Cue up the final 19.9 seconds. That's the power play.
Yeah, it is, and they're going to need one. They're going to need a big one. They're going to need a quick opportunity to get a quick bucket and then maybe try to get a steal the first 2 or 3 seconds and then foul. You know, you're never out of an NBA game when it's 19 seconds and a three-point shot around.
Last 4 regular season meetings between the Suns and Mavericks, the road team has won all 4. But it's the home team right now, up by 5. Suns to inbound, nothing doing for Jim Jackson, and they'll call another timeout. And that is a 20-second timeout for D'Antoni and the Suns. He will drop yet another inbounds play. We go back to another tight one between the Suns and the Mavs. First meeting of the season. The season opener, Jason Terry, the floater. This game went to double overtime before Dallas would win the game. Terry, lightning quick, dropping it in. Marquise Daniels had a significant three-pointer as well late in that game for Cuban and the Mavericks, who won it over the Suns in the season opener.
I mean, I've never, he's in front of the coach.
At least he got rid of that heinous blue jacket.
You know what?
Quick going for us.
Quick bucket here obviously is good, but the 3 is even better.
Quick lob feed to Sean Marion, rising up, can't put it down. Tough break from Marion, who's had a phenomenal ball game here. And Dallas looks like they will win this one on their home floor. Whittling away the seconds, passing them away, and the foul on Devin Harris. will send Devin Harris to the line. The foul whistled on Jim Jackson.
Jim Jackson is scoring.
You can tell by the reaction of the Mavericks that, you know, if you don't think that last season carries over to this season, then you don't understand basketball. They have a lot of memories on what happened to them to end their season last year, and every win against the Phoenix Suns is like a ghost out of their home, because that's something they've had to live with the whole off season, and the Suns understand that. And I'm sure if Amari was here to be a little bit different, the ghost might be back.
Oh yeah. Well, Dallas has helped Phoenix's cause here all night long, missing 14 free throws on the evening. 5 seconds to go. Dallas in control. It's the start of a 3-game road trip for the Suns here in Dallas, and head to Baton Rouge, Louisiana tomorrow to take on the Hornets Friday, at Memphis on Saturday. And you look at the heavy road schedule up ahead for the Suns. 8 of their next 10, including tonight, on the road.
And the Hornets are playing excellent basketball right now.
What an athletic team.
They were drilling the Clippers after 3 by about 16.
Eddie House for 3, and that'll do it. Dallas Mavericks have won it here at American Airlines Center. They are now 16-6 on the season, 8-3 here at home. The Suns now, after winning 9 in a row, have dropped 3 straight.
Yeah, and have to find a way to get themselves in order, and it's not going to get any easy. They're facing a hot Hornet team, and then follow that up with a team against one of the surprises of the season so far, the Memphis Grizzlies.
Sean Marion, 23 points, 19 rebounds. Nowitzki, 29 for the Mavs, and they win it by 6.